Porter's novels tend to spring from his journalism. They also tend to be in the moment, or at least relevant. None more so than his new novel Firefly, the first in 7 years. Essentially, a chase thriller, Firefly is exciting and pacey but, as you would expect from a politically aware novelist, also thought-provoking. Unlike some of his books, the intelligence services and the surveillance state are not the enemy here, are they our friends? That's more debatable. However, when it comes down to it, it is one decent man with a small group of determined friends electing to do the right thing that wins the day. Porter excels in the zeitgeist, but his books usually have a well-defined historical context. Firefly is a bit different. Firefly is a compassionate novel that exposes the dark underbelly of the refugee crisis in Europe, but is seen through the personal journey of one young refugee. It's an intelligent take on the modern political landscape and the ongoing war on terror. Ultimately an enriching read, you might even say worthy read, but this in no way detracts from the thrilling adventure that unfolds for us. Najee's story is front and center all the way, and the hunt dominates the action rather than conspiracy and intelligence machinations. Porter has always been strong on the human aspects of spying, but Firefly is intensely so because it is so centered on Najee and his would-be rescuer, Samson, a man who understands the plight of the refugee all too well. In the Mediterranean Sea near Greece, a small craft crashes into the rocks, a young boy is tossed into the sea. It's another of many desperate attempts to make it to Europe, the kind of thing refugees try every day. Najee begins to sink, about to drown, he isn't used to water, he can't swim. A sudden push from below lifts him towards the surface long enough for him to grasp onto a toggle on the raft, which is floating aimlessly in the rough sea. He hangs on for dear life. At 12 he is a child forced to act like an adult. He has the responsibility for another life. He is clutching a baby, promising it a bright future if they can just make it to shore. Unsure his strength will hold out, he hears an engine, a jet ski. They will be rescued. Najee is taken to a camp on Lesbos. The rumor is that a dolphin saved his life, other and not so lucky. In London, Paul Samson is still angry at the service for getting rid of him as he sees it, just because he liked to bet. Sure, the sums involved were large, but it was his money and actually he won. Now he freelances for a private intelligence agency set up by matey Harpen, an ex-BND colleague. Samson is good at finding people, but today they are looking for him. He's at his mother's restaurant, Cedar, when the sis come calling. Peter Nyman says they have a job for him, a one-off, right up his street. They've talked to matey at Hendricks Harpen, okayed it. They know the kind of work Samson has been doing. They have photos of him on the Turkey-Syria border, supposedly rescuing artifacts from the terrorists of Islamic State. Sis don't believe that story but don't know about Isel Hismia, her brother Dennis. Samson doesn't want to drop that matter, but unfortunately it looks like the search for Isel might end badly anyway, so Samson agrees to take some time out to help sis. They want a boy found. They don't even have a name yet, but they are looking for him because he is carrying information about a group of terrorists returning to Europe from Syria. Najee was a witness to the slaughter of his village Haja Sakar by these same people. It's not the only tragedy the boy has known in his life. Najee knows he needs help to make it to mainland Europe. He recruits the 16-year-old Syrian, Hakim, to get to him on a boat to Athens, then they part ways. The boy is vulnerable and his route is fraught with danger. The people who prey on the refugees know exactly where to intercept the travelers. The locals can be hostile. But now he is being hunted. Not just by the British with the cooperation of the German, Greek and Belgian intelligence services, but also by the corrupt officials ready to take terrorist money and the terrorists themselves, led by a man they call the Mashketi. He wants the secrets Najee stole returned and to see the boy dead. Firefly is a compassionate novel. It highlights the plight of refugees, often children, and the struggle they face on a daily basis. Najee is a resourceful hero, a boy forced to make choices no child should ever be faced with. You will marvel at his courage and his ingenuity and his instinct for survival. The suffering he has known, the terrible things he has witnessed at the hands of his make all the more determined to find a better life for himself and his sisters. A life in Islamic State would have meant slavery for the girls. The power of this novel is in its credible portrayal of a very human story, from the tragedy to the war in Syria and the refugee crisis to the threat of terrorism in Europe. The hunt across Greece and Macedonia for a boy seeking to bring justice to his village and prevent more atrocities carries real peril. There are good people to mind. Anastasia gets Samson started on his journey following the boy. The pace is brisk and the denouement very satisfying. The story of Isel intersects with that of Naji cleverly. Porter's debut, Remembrance Day 1999, was an explosive thriller set during the Troubles, a brilliant first novel, Fast and Furious. My personal favorite is Brandenburg 2005, a masterpiece of rare insight and complexity about the fall of the wall and the movement for revolution in Eastern Europe. Stylistically more straightforward, more at ease with itself is Firefly, consummate writing and so very relevant to today. Paul Bork 5 Quarters Firefly by Henri Porter Quercus 9,781,787,470,491 HBK June 2018